Order, please. Roll call.
Oh, here. Portal.
Here.
Herrick.
Here.
Fitzgerald.
Here.
Irvin.
Here.
Peeler.
Here.
Schutz.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to excuse Jeff Schutz tonight. He's in Akron for business.
Second.
Portal.
Yes.
Herrick.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
Peeler.
Yes.
You stand for prayer. Make sure your phones are off on silent, please. Let us pray.
Pray, Lord,
that
we who serve your people in public office may have your blessings and guidance from our deliberations and decisions, so that what we accomplish here this evening will be just and beneficial to the people whom we serve.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading and approval of the minutes. There was an issue. Peter so printer. Get it back. It's over on the next meeting. Petitions and communications. All right, I had just had a few things. Nice weather's coming around. I'm going to see the police and fire to get on to people who are their grass is not cut, junk, whatever going on. Start cleaning up their properties, and just hope the people of Mingo, you see something, start help cleaning up, and let's take care of our community. With that, I give it to Paul.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Thrasher, Steve. I'm going to let you guys start. You can introduce your folks you want. I'm going to give you an update on our storm source separation and grid system, EQ tank, and everything else that we're trying to do. So I'll turn it over to you.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for letting us come in and at least be first on your agendas. We had a public hearing scheduled this afternoon, just right before this, and so we wanted to kind of give you a real quick summary of everything. We have another public hearing coming up rather quickly in the next couple weeks. So with that being said, Scott is right here. He's the project manager that's working on your project. So thought it would be a good idea, since he's the one doing all the work, and I just sit there and yell at him, that he was going to give you a good update on what's going on. And you had met John last time we were up here, staff engineer working on everything. So if you want to take it from here, you want me to go?
Yeah. Thank you. So this is going to be an update of where we stand today. This was geared towards the public meeting, so this might be a little redundant for some of you. Obviously, we all know the problem is the sewer system that's a combination of over and unders and combined, and we're getting a lot of storm water in there, and that's bringing peaks where we're discharging into the rivers. So we're trying to find out how we can take those peaks out and keep the contaminated flows from going into the rivers. So we were tasked with doing a preliminary engineering report that involved, we put flow meters in the sewers for a period of weeks, actually a month better, and tried to capture some flows there, get some rain events, figure out what's actually going on, study the environmental impacts, do some studies of what land requirements are, and overall get an idea of what approach we could do to address the combined sewer problem. So this was broken down into the CSO stands for combined sewer overflows. So we broke it into sub-basins and attacked them individually. This is the CSO 5 and 6. We were proposing to install a new sanitary installed alongside the combined sewer serving Churchill neighborhood above Route 7. This creates the low maintenance sustainable system. It separates out the storm and the sanitary as it is supposed to be. That keeps the amount of water going to the treatment plant, which it does reduce wear and tear on the plant, but it also is the primary thing is to avoid the untreated overflows. So this picture isn't great, but I have better stuff in front of you there of the Church Hill, which we can go over when we get there. What we had, this Church Hill? Yeah.
You don't have Church Hill. You don't have Church Hill. Are you? You got Church Hill in there? 'Cause you got Logan.
Right here. Page 1, it's the
Commercial.
5 and 6 in the bottom right.
Commercial.
First page.
Well, you got a different one than I got on.
Okay.
That's my
You want a
old
copy?
Yeah, this is what,
Oh, okay.
this exhibit is what we had in the preliminary engineering report months ago with the best available information we had. What you have before you is actually where we stand today, and that includes all the survey we did to map out every manhole and every pipe we can find, and a considerable amount of field work that involved dye testing to figure out actually where pipes go, what houses are tied into what, and actually, so this is an approach that involves a lot more detail than this. What we found in a lot of cases was we had initially planned on putting in new sanitary and tying houses into the new sanitary and leaving the old sewer to take care of the stormwater. When we got into the nuts and bolts of this whole thing, it turned out that that was not the streamlined way of doing it in a lot of ways. But each of these is a case-by-case basis, but we're finding a lot of, in a lot of ways that the sanitaries did not have a lot of stormwater in them. And it was a lot easier to leave the sanitary alone and just pull a little bit of storm that's in them and pull that out, and not retie all the houses in and rip up everybody's yards, which I consider as good news. So we had CSO 7 was we wanted the recommendation in the PDR was to remove multiple sanitary lines from the combined sewer and reconnect them to the sanitary main. The existing combined sewer would remain to collect and transport the storm flows, which is a reiteration of 5 and 6. And that is the image from our PER. And what do we have for CSO 7?
Page 2.
So, CSO 7, John, can you, this was just a few small runs are going to accomplish taking the storm out of the combined, correct?
Yes, so McClister was, we're gonna retie across the street and be able to repave when we
Repave,
come
yeah.
down. But after we
Can't do
looked
it.
at it,
Yeah, we can't do it. You got that main big one. You got that jumbo coming down
right,
the
so
middle.
there's the jumbo on the way, it's a big line, and once we were able to do even more research into the field, look at it, again, there wasn't any storm coming into it, and so we can retie it further down the street, and we can just retie that combined line, which actually is just acting as sanitary right now.
Right, we thought, on McClister, we thought we had a dedicated sanitary and a storm and then combined. And so when we did the research on the combined sewer, we found there was almost no storm in it at all, and in reality, what was pretty close to what's on McClister is 2 dedicated sanitary lines. So, on the upstream end. As you get down into the commercial, there's some individual tie-ins that need to be looked at. CSO 8, we had multiple over and under sewers and combined connections. Collect the sanitary flows that are currently going to the combined system and transport them to the sanitary only. The existing combined sewer would remain to collect and transport storm flows only, which is again, that was our plan in the beginning, to new sanitary, keep the old stuff for the storm flows. We removed the newly discovered CSO on Logan Ave as part of the over and under separation.
So this is 8. Okay.
So we have these two manholes here are collecting stormwater and putting into a combined. We're going to put some runs in, and those little arrows are flow lines showing taking the stormwater and getting it out of the combined system. There's CSO 8 from the preliminary engineering report. CSO 9, construct a 1-foot high weir in the CSO to utilize a full capacity sewer. There is a combined type of manhole that the flow meters said that it varied, the pipe flow, very infrequently did the pipe flow come up high enough to spill sanitary flow into the storm. So what we're going to do is just, if we just do a buildup of the walls of the pipe a little bit, we believe that will reduce the amount of overflows to negligible. So that's a very cost-efficient way. Under a catastrophic storm, you still would get a combined sewer overflow, but that would be a way to address that problem there. And there in the corner is the detail of the manhole and what we would propose to do on that. And I think we're still going to go that route based on our studies to date. And then we get down to the wastewater treatment plant. We're going to build an EQ basin near the treatment plant with the equalization basin near the treatment plant to store peak flows and reduce the overflows into the creek. And the basin would be a safeguard for unknown cross connections as well as inflow and infiltration. That at the time of the PDR, that is where we proposed to put the EQ basin, and we have since, with working with Bob and other people in the city, come up with a more efficient place to put the EQ basin, which is in your handouts there. We had to stay 500 feet away from the existing well, which that radius there is shown. And I've been told that there's been negotiations with, that's it's currently private property, and there's been negotiations for that property that have been moving in a positive direction. So our field data collection was, again, our survey. We went out, the survey's 100% complete. The historical information, talking to people, employees of the city that know what's going on, and then the system exploration, which is a combination of dye test and smoke test. So far, we focused a lot on dye testing sanitary. We came back down and actually did some dye testing on storm sewers, which was a little trickier because in dry weather there's no water that flows through them, so we got some cooperation to run some open hydrants in there to actually test the storms. And what we would like to do is, in some select areas, do some smoke testing, which is going to involve some notices should go out to residents and stuff. So people are expecting some smoke that is safe and not, your house isn't on fire, nothing's on fire, it's just a test. And then this is the images, these are the images that you have before you. So I think I have, last here is our schedule. So we expect 60% completion the end of this month, a final design May and June, review and final documents in July, August. And I have a question about the next public meeting, which,
I don't know if it's next week or 2 weeks, I'll let you know.
okay.
I know we had to do crowd control this time, so maybe we'll be a little better next time.
I know. It's directing traffic. So is there any questions?
So basically what we did when we came with our PER is we gave you our best understanding of your system at that point in time. And from everything we understood from Kyle. John and Joe have been down here doing some dye testing with Kyle, and George has been helping quite a bit on flushing some storm sewers for us so that we can trace the water. So at this point, we believe we have a really good understanding of where everything is. So to verify that, because I would hate to change your pipes and find out, gee whiz, I missed something upstream, which is going to cause a bigger problem down the road. So with that said, we'd like to come back with smoke testing machine, and we'll schedule that with Bob and the crew, make sure the police and fire department know, make sure we get some type of notification out to the neighborhood that we're going to be in, so that there isn't any false smoke calls, fire calls. And in doing that, it'll help us find if our assumptions and all the information we feel is right is right. Currently, the model will react the way that we feel it is. We've been in contact with the central office, Ohio EPA, on catching them up to where we're at, what's been going on, how everything's been working. And Bob, I forgot to ask you earlier, and I apologize. It appears that the central office has not been keeping the district office up to date on what we've been doing. And so therefore, Scott's going to send a letter to the district office and explain this is the schedule we have, this is what we're doing, and so on and so forth. So there was a letter that came, and Scott will take care of addressing that for the village. They'll give it to Bob, so you have a copy of it. So in essence, everything that we said we were doing. It just may be in a much smaller scale. We don't need to tear up a clister going across several times. Now we think we can take care of that, not a problem at all. Which is good news in one part. I'm not tearing up the entire city. Bad news.
I lose my road. I lose my paving on my road.
Fresh paving. So the EPA hypothetically, conceptually, has been through our math, all of our models and everything, and John and Scott have been working with them directly, so it's pretty well they've accepted everything that we presented to them. So we're on track for the funding that we had originally proposed, and the schedule that Scott had shown you is important because we had to be under contract by December so that you kept your funding. So we're trying to push that as early as we can. A couple things, it gives us a little bit of flexibility in case there's something that comes up. And number two, it's always better to beat the deadline with them.
Yeah.
So we wanted to come and give you a summary, and we had a public hearing, so we're perfect. Thank you for your time, unless you have questions.
I have a question. What's the timeline as far as getting a different number as far as the cost of the modifications and changes?
Actually, I knew somebody was going to ask that because Bob has asked me probably 2 or 3 times. So what we're doing is rather than giving you a number and then coming back and doing smoke testing and giving you another number, I would prefer not to give you, I can tell you it's coming down tremendously at this point. But what I'd like to do is do the smoke testing and then come back and give you a real number. Because if I give you a number today and then come back, you're going to ask me, well, I got a number here, there, and here. We're progressively going down, but I know the activity down at the EQ basin and everything, we're trying to make sure that we get everything wrapped up. One option that we may have is currently we've sized the EQ basin for the storm that the EPA is good with, and we've left a buffer in there just because we've made assumptions. the village may decide at some point when we come back with, okay, here's the number that we're at today, and this is with all the assumptions that we have, we may decide at one time that maybe we need to increase that just to give you an extra comfort. The idea is to make sure that, you know, when we do have a catastrophic rain event,
We're good.
it's very limited on if there is an overflow. I mean, we can prove it mathematically, but at this point in time, you know, would you rather have that extra cushion because you have this extra funding, or do we want to say, they've already agreed to it, it's good enough?
He already knows where I stand.
Yeah.
Because they increased it by 20%, but, you know, I'm going to go bigger, you know, just because you never know what's coming up and down this valley.
Yeah.
And we want to have, you know, enough there. And I can't say enough, these guys have done really good work for us. And, you know, as far as you're worrying about the price, I beat them up enough most of the time. But they're definitely doing a very good job for us. You know, we acquire that land and everything. It's going to be, trust me, this is going to beat whatever we had to do before. And then we're going to be totally complete and out of under the thumb of the EPA.
Meet all our obligations.
Yep. And then some.
Any other questions?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Doug.
Good to know your work.
I'm sure Bob gives you a
Scott.
call every 5 minutes.
What's that?
I'm not sure you give him a call every 5 minutes.
No, but we talk. I'm a little grumpy. I already apologized to Scott the last time I talked to him. I was a little grumpy about things, but, you know.
But like
He said
I
he's used to
go
it, so.
back on something what you say, Bob, they do a lot of nice work for
Oh,
us,
yeah.
and they help us out a lot, which we really appreciate.
We're happy to do it.
And just like Amy, I like, the public really don't know what's going behind. You know, these people, the EPA things have to be done with, you got Thrasher, you got people who's doing a lot of things that the public's, they're not aware of. It needs to be done in villages and cities that you guys really help out a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate the kind words.
What are these two gentlemen's names?
I'm sorry, this is Scott Wangler and John Kaiser.
Office is too big.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
We'll see you guys. Steve,
Thank
we'll
you.
be talking.
Hey, Steve.
I can't say enough about those folks, honestly. I mean, I talked to him quite a bit. And, you know, Steve, I'm so glad that I found him, honestly. I can't say enough about him. So, you know, they're very fair with us. You know, I constantly hammer them as far as pricing. I hate to say that this is going to come in way under budget, but I got a feeling this is going to come in under budget. You know, I was predicting maybe possibly $5 million or whatever else to do all this. I don't want to throw a number out there either, like he doesn't want to throw a number out there, but things are looking really good. And you hate to say that too loud, but you know, they are looking pretty good. And if we can get this taken care of, like I said before, you know, we meet everything that the EPA wants us to do, and you know, they are very happy with what we are doing. And so you get them off our back, and that's a major plus for this village. So.
How far were we out with them? Like 25, 30 years? As
Yeah.
far as projects that,
Well, I just know that before, when they dealt with them, they just didn't listen to anything that they had to say, basically. They just said, we're not going to do it, what are you going to do about it? I mean, you know, that was kind of what that's what I've heard. You know, I don't even want to go there, honestly, I don't.
So we
But-
got to start it.
But we, right now, you know, we're in very good shape with the EPA. We got a very good relationship with them, and they know exactly what, you know, we're trying to do everything they're asking us to do. So,
I want to commend you on your efforts and all the
Yeah.
stuff
Thank
you've
you.
done as far as that goes
Thank
with
you.
the EPA, mending that relationship, and also the work on this project's been tremendous.
thanks. Well, we came to an agreement on the property. My first bullet up there, we'll talk about that in executive session. We went back and forth, but it's going to be very advantageous to us to get that property. Matter of fact, I think I got it at a very good price, honestly. Park manager is still the same. We don't really have anybody at this point in time. Park manager. I didn't know. They pointed back to you, Champ. I heard Champ said, no, I'm out of that game. I've had enough of that.
Champs won Saturday and Sunday off.
So we're right there. I mean, we're getting down to it, but we may have some leads here. There's been some things talked about. No matter what, we will open up there, guys. We will get something done. If my mayor's got to man it, we'll make sure we're manned, okay? I will be asking you sometime today that I want to put a diving board in, and I don't think they appropriated for it. It's $15,000. Now, I can get it cheaper for $4,000, but I got to dig 4 feet down into that deck up there, and I'm not going to do that. I don't even know what's under there, Jack. Would you even happen to know? I mean, there's probably electric, because you got lights up in there and stuff. I wouldn't even want to touch that. But this is a great board. It's a great platform. It'll outlast at least probably my life, two younger folks. But we definitely need another board up there, no doubt about it. So 15,000 is 15,000. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But
Is this a small, a low board, or is it going to be a
it's 1
medium,
meter
another
board,
medium?
1 meter board, and it's 17 foot long. I got the same size.
What size is the medium that's up there?
That's a 1 meter. I'm
Okay,
pretty
so
sure it's
it's
1 meter,
same-
same size,
okay.
same thing.
So 2 medium guys,
Yeah.
okay.
And I think it'll be nice because, like I said, when we have that night swimming and everything up there, the lines are huge, and we just need another board. I mean, I think it's going to be something we need to invest in. And like I said, if the mill goes, I mean, we're going to be okay. It's just pay me now or pay me later, and that's our show place up there. I still got a grant going to try to get it repaid. I didn't get it last year. I might get it this year, but it won't be effective till next year. But I gave him a piece of my mind when I didn't get it. I thought that we put a pretty good grant together, and I thought that they gave the money elsewhere around this valley, and I was not very happy with it. So we're still working on that. Major slip and battle run. My ace came back, Timmy, and he went down there and filled it in. Now, it's not done, for sure. I mean, but I tell you what, it looks much better than it has. We still got it roped off. It's not fixed. But we're going to try to get FEMA money. I do not want to take any money out of this village to do that road. I'll be honest with you.
Did you see that Jefferson County, it's in the Herald Star tonight, that there's FEMA money available from the February floods?
Well, I already talked to Jim out there about getting some of that money, and he didn't sound real positive.
They're putting in there's an article in tonight's
Yeah.
paper, read it.
Well, when I talked to him, I said, should I come to the meeting? He said, no, I'll take care of it. So I will talk to him again, because they don't have any money really available till June. That's the second round that they're going to have. I think it's June, because I've already called them talking about getting money, and they said, no, we don't have any. So maybe they aren't going to, put some more
It
money
sounds like they are.
in. That thing's probably going to take 50, 60,000 minimum to do. But I mean, he filled that in really. I'll tell you what, wind it out a little bit. I don't want to really close that road. It is an inconvenience for those folks who travel up and down there. But he did one hell of a job over there. He got the water to actually go reroute it also. Table of organization, I'm going to ask you guys to basically table that. I don't think it's right, the table organization that we're voting on right now. I don't think it's right. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to take all of the different, just had a brain out there. The bid sheets, I'm going to try to make the titles of the bid sheets match what's in the contract. In other words, if it's a supervisor, it's a supervisor, okay? Whatever else. That's what I'm going to try to do, because that's kind of what the union wanted me to do. And I really don't have any problem with that. Plus, right now, I got 3 drivers up there, and you guys are approving a table organization that has 2 drivers. So we're really, it's already kind of wrong, okay? So it's up to you guys. If you want to pass it, that's fine, but I think that I need to go back and redo it and then bring it back in front of you guys again.
I just assume do it when it's
Yeah,
right.
I'd rather do it right. I mean, that's, like I said, it's up to you. I mean, you can always add to it, whatever else, so, but I'd rather just try to do it right. Basement flow, we're getting that taken care of. I think next week they will actually be starting to replace the pumps, the motors, and everything downstairs. That'll be another headache that's gone. I think Thursday I got a guy coming in. I got that preventive maintenance here in this building. He's gonna go through all of our HVAC stuff. It cost us like $3,500, $4,000. Well worth it, guys. Well worth it. Hot patching, we're gonna start hot patching the places that I don't want to replace, okay? And the ones that I have to patch, I'm gonna patch. But I got 3 or 4 roads that we're not even gonna touch for a while, because we're gonna do something with them. Working on the road resurfacing criteria, working with Thrasher, trying to figure out if I want to go 3-inch, 4-inch on different places, you know, if I want to crown it and put, you know, feather it out. And I'm going to try to go for a loan, guys. I'm going to try to, you know, I got a couple $100,000 right now probably. I want to try to borrow $500,000 because we need to do something. We need to get these roads fixed. You know, they just can't be patched anymore. And I'm working through a couple funding sources to see, you know, I might get it at 3% or whatever else. But we have to do something for these roads. I got 4 priority roads right now that I have to get done. You know, Valley, West Boulevard, North Hill, Petrick. Those they have to be done. You just can't patch them anymore. And I have a wish list of other ones. And I just did a rough estimate, and most of the roads, I mean, I got probably about 4 more roads. And, you know, I just tried to do a rough estimate. I'm looking like $700,000, somewhere close to that. So we have to do something.
I'm missing one, Bob. Valley West and Petrick.
North Hill.
Thanks.
Logan. Yeah, up to 5 points. And then the other ones I'm going to do chip and seal. I'm going to do behind Mr. Jagger's there, where his road is at again, because it held up pretty decent. I want to try it again, and I want to do Legion because, you know, those folks are going to have baseball up there. I want that to look nice. I'm going to double chip and seal it because it will hold up. And like I said before, I was a kid, and that place was almost a show place of our place in Mingo too. We played baseball up there, and they're going to be using all 3 fields, that's my understanding, right? And, you know, I want a nice road for them folks to come in on. George, your stuff's got to go. We got to move it. So we're going to try to move it down there by the stadium. I know that's not the prime place to have it, but I don't know where else to put it, honestly. At least they got concrete down there where it can sit there and they won't, you know, rut everything up. Maybe after it's all over, we could bring it back up. If your folks would put a little money out, maybe we could put a pad up there. You know, talk to them about that. You know, so we can move it for 3 months or 2 months out of the year. Because I know that people do use it. You know, they do use it. Watering stand diving for plug. I already did that. I applied for recreation funds from the county. I hope I'll get at least $10,000 or $12,000 from them. I didn't fix that. Sorry.
I know. That's okay.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. We will have to move the recycling bins and ball field. One other thing that the commercial avenue job, we got all the money plus some already reimbursed. I was very surprised. So I'm still going to try to do some things down there because they gave us everything I asked for and I didn't spend it all. That's pretty amazing, honestly. Because Kim Triganelli just called me and just told me that we got everybody, all their percentages, they gave it to us. So nothing out of our pocket. Matter of fact, there's probably about $100,000 more. But we'd have to give it back. I'm going to try to use some of it. But so that worked out well.
Thank you, Bob.
That's all I got.
As usual, you know, my feeling on that, you do a nice job. We need to have our differences. And,
I can't stand you, Mayor, but
I know.
besides that.
but you get the job done, and I'll keep saying this till, I mean, whenever. I think the people in Mingo really don't know what's behind the village administrator's job, the council's job, anybody's job. I mean, they do a great job. They try to get this village up and running again, which I appreciate.
You're welcome.
Jags, you got anything?
Just the new budget is out, so everybody got a copy of that, so we're off and running. Do it at your leisure and try, you know, if council wants it every meeting or the first meeting of the month, just let me know. You're provided your way for it, so, okay.
Mr. Huggins, question for you. I looked on there, we got any EMS money coming in yet?
I haven't talked to Johnny, I don't know if we did or not. I think we did already have something. I think he told us last time he was here that they had about 20,000.
That's from last year.
Oh, it's still from last year? I don't think we much money.
Yeah, according to this, we got over 100,000 in revenue, but I don't know how much that was payment from before. In December, if we posted that a little bit late in January, I'm not quite sure. No, most of that has to be recent.
I thought he only had 20 to 30,000 coming through the end of the year, so we did a lot more now.
Yeah, because month to date is 65K being brought in EMS revenue. But that's off of taxes, I think. Yeah.
off the taxes, not off the,
Yeah, so charges is 35K so far this year.
I'll stop to see Johnny.
What's that?
I'll stop to see Johnny and ask him.
All right. Arnie, anything from you?
No, I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. Chief Sega's not here. Wright's not here. Anything from the IT? They're not here. George or Hal's not here. All right. Anything on finance? Yes, sir.
Is there an update? Did you get a hold of the
I
office?
did get a hold of them. The guy said he was looking into it. He'd get back to me Thursday. What is today? Tuesday. So
What was the guy you contacted? Do you know who that was by chance?
the guy I talked to,
Yeah.
I got it written down in the office. I'm not sure. His name.
Alright.
Brian.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Ordinances, Adam, anything besides what we just talked about?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Jody, anything on safety?
Oh, wait, don't we have to give that the third reading and then not move on it?
Give it a
Yeah.
third, give it a third reading and then or you can make a motion now to
Yeah.
table. You don't have to give it a third reading.
Yeah, can you
Just
just
make a
table it?
motion to table it.
I'll make a motion.
Either way.
I'll make a motion to table the ordinance.
Second.
Peeler,
Yes.
Irvin,
Yes.
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Herrick,
Yes.
Bertel,
Yes.
All right. Jack, anything on service?
No, Mayor. Nothing.
Adam, anything on street lights, sidewalks, curbs?
Nothing to report, Mayor.
All right.
Hey, how's that street light? Is it still working? It's not working out there?
Off and on, off and on all the time.
I see if we can just get the whole light replaced.
George, anything on water and sewage?
Nothing else. It's all already been mentioned and talked about.
I have a question
Yes.
on water. Have you been watching the news and reading the paper about other villages and other cities having problems? I have a suggestion. We have a water board. It meets so often. Why can't we have a water board meet and say, these are the people who are going to shut off? Now, not tomorrow, now.
That's executive. That's not council.
When you see a water board, those are in villages that don't have an administrator. If you don't have an administrator, you have, and they call it, it's actually a board of trustees.
Board of
of
trustees.
Public affairs or something.
Can the water board make suggestions to the village
I
administrator?
mean, you can create whatever you want, but they have no legal authority.
No, I'm trying to take a little pressure off of this guy. He's going around in circles with this
I mean,
stupid
if you want to
water
have
stuff.
some kind of an appeals process that would go to whoever, you can do that, but there's no authority for that. They would just make recommendations. You know, when you see a water board, that's for villages that don't have a village administrator. And those are elected positions.
Yes, George.
One thing we could do as far as a committee and then go before full council is enact ordinance-specific language as far as some of the specifics of that. Therefore, it's not so much this administrator thinks this, whereas the past one said this and stuff like that, where it's more under ordinance, maybe it gives it more backing. That's something we could look into doing as far as procedurally. I don't know.
Well,
if
in
that
other
would
words,
be-
you're going to eliminate case-by-case basis.
Yeah, but still maybe have an appeals process, but appeal will go, unfortunately, probably right to Bob.
How many days late is a water bill before a collection
We
notice
got a
is sent out?
30-day billing. Well, we don't have the personnel. So once again, I got one guy on distribution at this point in time, and it just isn't working, okay? That's what we'll talk about here in the second session. But 30 days, and then after that billing goes out, then you can put a 10-day notice out. And then after the 10-day notice, you can put a 24-hour notice on.
Because according to what Steubenville's doing, they're issuing a 14-day disconnect notice 10 days after the due date passes.
No, we don't wait, we shouldn't even have to wait 10 days, really. You don't have to.
This was in the
That's
paper the
why-
other
that's
day,
why-
and I screenshotted
That's
a
why
couple.
when I deal with landlords and it's out of hand when we haven't shut them off, I go 2 months of average usage. That's what I do. That's really all I can get off of them. And I think that's the fair thing to do because it's our fault for not getting them shut off.
Absolutely.
So, this has been a pain in my side since I've been here. And I just can't get the personnel, but I'm still trying. I'm still trying to work on that. Like I said, we'll talk about that in executive session.
Do we raise the rates as far as turn the water on for somebody? Will we charge now 150?
No, that's your deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 150. You'd have to bring that as an ordinance, but I think that most of your landlords are getting a little smarter, and what they're doing is saying, okay, you pay them 150 and you pay me 100. So they're getting their own deposit, just in case somebody skips out.
We can't get the landlords to sign up for our thing. let alone
Working on that.
Water.
It's an issue, not just us.
I mean,
Everybody
I
has
know
it.
a couple water bills that are pretty blessed high.
You don't have to tell me about that.
Pretty blessed high. I mean, really. And the people are still living in the houses. They own the house. I don't know how, my God,
We're chipping away, but we're not chipping enough, as far as I'm concerned. I'm very disappointed in the progress that we've made in that area. Very disappointed.
But now
But we are doing very good in collecting money. We're doing very well.
But now the houses that are suspect as far as getting more water than they're paying for, those have new meters in
Well,
those
we're
houses.
trying to get those, we're trying to put new meters in those homes, even curb shut-offs and everything else, so. Like I said, if I could get 2 good people on distribution, 2 good people, it would make the world of difference. It really would. It's just difficult to do. Difficult to do.
You talking part-timers?
No, you don't want you want people that are gonna work, Part-timers aren't gonna do it.
Plus demand right
Yeah.
now to use. There's
Yeah.
demand.
Still working on it, I won't give up.
In regards to the fees, had one of the residents, I think he caught a few of us, about, he pays his bill through his bank. I don't know if Balzano talked to you or when he told me he talked to a few people, but he pays his bill through his bank. The bank communicates it over. I don't know how the billing works, but there's something lost in the communication where it takes so long. There's a lag. So if he's paying it on time with plenty of time through his bank, but then
by the time it gets here-
the communication is so slow. By the time it gets here, he acts like, I don't know if he's getting late fees or what, but
This is the first I'm hearing of that, honestly.
yeah.
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
You're right, because he called me too about it.
And if that occurs, we need to look in why that gap is there.
Yeah, why the lag.
Why the
Should that be in
lull?
real time?
Huh?
Should that be?
Oh, I would think it'd be very close to 24 hours at
That'd be almost
max.
a question for his bank, almost, you would think. I mean, what-
Can he not get online and use
Right.
our,
Yeah, he should.
our
He should-
thing?
he
I
should
mean,
be
because
able
it
to.
takes like 2 minutes.
He should be able
that's
to.
pretty-
Maybe he doesn't want to pay that, that 2 or 3%.
What is it, $2?
Right,
Yeah.
I suggested that, yeah.
Probably doesn't want to pay that.
Exactly.
So, can only be so much of our brother's keeper. But I'll try. He needs to talk to his bank about that. I would think, not us.
Right.
To find out why there's
Where
a
the
big lull.
holdup is.
Because if they pay up here, if they pay online or whatever, this is the first I'm hearing of this, honestly, where there's an issue. And if that occurs, I would take his fees off.
Right.
I got no problem taking his fees off. Like I said, I try to help most people in this town.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And how
can't
come
stand to
you
not
don't know that
have
there's a
these people
problem,
with
huh?
water on, but you only can do so much. So
Bob, you talking about the water leak that was in the evidence room last week?
that's been taken care of.
That's been taken care of.
That's been taken care of. No more buckets. I'm gonna
Jack,
fix the
anything on
floor.
cemetery and recreation?
Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Brockway again. He wanted to clean the cemetery up. Took all the Christmas decorations and everything else out. I was upwards again today, and there's still some down over the hill where the wind blew them down over the hill. I'll take care of them. Yeah, and there was a grate collapsed up there. Timmy took care of it. The Say-Wans, or the Say-Wan deal, we're still arguing about that. I don't know. I just, what tractor at the park, it's probably got the last leg.
Is it?
Well, I mean, the tires are
Well,
completely,
I thought we got tires on it. I told
a new tire on the front. The back tires are completely like this right here, smooth. And, you know,
well, is it bad running or does it just need
no,
tires?
just these tires, I mean,
We can take care of that.
the deck shakes when you start it up.
Well,
The
it's
steering
just-
wheel's broke from guys pulling on it, and it's just a mess. And I've been cutting grass for the last week and a half up there, and it's just, I need some help, Mayor, up there. Can we get some of the city employees to work over?
Well, just let me know, Jack,
I
what
mean,
you
there-
need.
there- there's
They've been working up there,
Who?
city employees.
Have they been working up by the pool? Let me know what
Yeah,
you need.
There's leaves piled up this
They've
high.
cleaned the shelter houses out, they've cleaned the pool out, they've
Yeah.
done.
I know,
lots
but all the
of-
leaves are blowing right back in the pool again.
It's April.
Just let me, like Jack, let me know.
I understand it's April, but you know,
We got another guy who's coming back. He's been off for a while, so just let me know. We'll try to get somebody over
We only
there.
got 4 or 5 guys on village employees, we're short there too.
Yeah.
It's rubbish days, garbage days, we're patching
I
holes.
understand that, Mayor, but we're working overtime every place else, but
I
why can't we
understand
work
what
a
you're
little
saying. I
overtime?
have no
Service
problem.
I
department?
can, I can do that, but you know how I try to hold that down as much as possible.
I mean, we're working so much overtime in other departments, I know this, service department is, one's, not.
They don't.
But your other departments are killing us in overtime right now.
Anyhow, one more thing, Mayor, and I'm done for tonight. I made a statement in the paper last meeting, about something we can't control. And you know what, I should have just went and said the right thing. It's overtime. I got a sheet of paper here, overtime, last year. I'll let you guys look at this one day. I'll make you vomit. I'm talking 700-800 hours overtime. Departments. Other departments, 100 hours, 35 hours. 700-800 hours overtime. We can't control it. Or we sure ain't control it. So, you know, I made a statement and I was questioned and I tried to explain myself a little bit. But you know what? 669 hours, 700 hours, 782 hours, 800 hours. You know, it goes on and on and on. It just, you know. I'll let you look at this. There's no names on it, so you can do what you want to do with it.
Does it come back on like they always threaten? I mean, it's, you know, do we want to change our expectations as far as the level of staffing that I mean, 'cause that's what they always try to turn it around. You know, I mean, that's just excessive any way you look at it. I mean, there's no way to even justify that amount of hours. I mean, that's, in my mind, I just find that crazy, but I know they're busy, I know there's certain calls, but when you're running the department, it's similar to, I would imagine, running a business, you know, you have a certain target in mind or a goal, and you do what you can to stick to that. You know, sometimes, you know, you might work a little extra in hard times or busy times, but you know that you went over there, so you think you would, you know, proportion back in other at other times when you can, but that's just running rampant as far as I'm concerned, and it's a big drain on the village if the revenues don't come in proportionally.
Well, just like you said, that's part of the supervisor's job, to be aware of their budget, to stay around it.
Well, why, Mayor? At the end of the year, we just say, oh, we'll level it all up.
I understand.
It happens every year. This will level it all up. Don't worry about it. I don't run my house like that, and I hope you people don't run your house like that, because if you do, you're in trouble. This is a business, and we should run like a business. Not at the end of the year, just say everything's okay, just go on your merry way, but we're doing it. All right, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Jody, anything in health and pension?
I have something for recreation. Rob Parisi got a hold of me again, and he's got this landscaper on hold, and he wants to know if it's okay if he moves forward on this thing for Doc Rookshaw.
You can tell me exactly where he wants us again. You told me, but
I sent you the picture.
I know.
It's down in the grass, down across from where the shelter house would be. I can show you the picture.
I think that's still good.
There's an X there.
I don't mind that happening, but I'll make comments later about this. 'Cause I'm not real happy about it. Because there's other things that went on before this.
Other things that went on with you, I don't know what you're talking about.
With the Indian Creek and this and that, the scholarship and all this and that. I don't want to get into it here.
Since I missed last meeting, what are we talking about?
Bob Parisi
Yeah,
wants to
Rob.
dedicate something to
Doc Rookshaw.
Doc Rookshaw.
He wants like a little memorial garden up there. He's paying for it all. He's got a landscaper. Wants to come in, put a fence
Just
around it,
something.
do a,
No?
yeah, that's it.
Kind of the walking trail, the bend down by
Yeah.
the tennis court.
There's the pole, that X there. There's the,
All the water's come up through the ground.
fence around it.
I tried to cut today, and tried to
Where are you?
It's flat down there.
the road coming down by the small shelter house.
You just filled that
Wet area
in.
in
Go
there.
across again or again up on the bend.
They cleaned that big store out, they cleaned the other one out down up on that top.
Down by the tennis
Okay.
court, that shelter house.
We just filled in 2 sinkholes over there by the path.
I see.
Okay.
Where'd it go?
Oh, it's up in your messages, sorry. I showed the mayor where he wanted it.
Generous offer, but I mean, my only concerns would be something that is very low maintenance. That's something, a lot of, always have good intentions and things are beautiful when they're first done, but, a lot of times these things require ongoing maintenance for, different seasons and years to come, and if no one's around or the volunteers don't take, care of it, I mean, I don't know who it falls upon, and it sounds like he was pretty strict about, upkeep that he expected. So it's just something that for us to keep in mind as we consider.
Well,
But it's definitely a generous offer of his, so.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt you, Adam, but this goes back to the trees that are up there that
Right.
they did years ago, with the plaques and everything, that they are, I mean, you go down and look at them. They're not maintained, they're
Right.
not nothing. We did mulching, which, our fault when we haven't kept them updated or nice or, but, people who donated their time and donated for the plaques and stuff. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So we can talk about this later.
Jody, we'll have another meeting, and I'll bring it up again.
Okay, let me know when the meeting is, because he's asking me. I mean, he's anxious on it, so let me know.
Okay, so Jeffrey's not here. Jody or George, you have anything with senior citizens?
I don't. Fred, do you have anything?
Quiet, Fred.
What? Not about the sand trucks?
Not a peep.
All right, BHJ, Bob or Satch, you have anything on BHJ?
I'll never have anything because I never go to the meetings. So.
Adam, anything on annexation?
Usual, no report as far as annexation.
All right. George, anything on economic development?
Couple things. I saw the appliance store down there doing a little bit of. I saw people out there with it. I have not been in. Is that place officially open yet? The appliance store down there?
He was putting a sign on the
It's not
window.
officially open.
Okay, I was wondering. 'Cause I saw activity. And I was
Put a big sign
wondering.
up.
Yeah.
But he's not officially open.
And I saw a little report on Facebook. One of the place in Toronto coming trying to start a little shop over here in Mingo. So that'll be nice too. So we'll see how long that takes to come to fruition. So that'll be another little nice thing as we progress on that thing. And just to go back to something we talked about previously in reference to the rental property registration process, I got a hold of EJ Kahn with the county. He directed me onto the website, and this one little part that I always overlooked, there's a real estate downloads type aspect in there. You click that, you put information in there, and eventually it spits back to you a CSV type file, which has, good and bad, it has every single property in the county in one file for you. But I'm weeding through, I got it down to Mingo, and I'm weeding through properties and parcels owned by non-Mingo people, as well as trying to look through and trying to give a heads up to give her some list of some possibilities. Of also a list of people in Mingo who own multiple properties, which means some of those are possibly rentals, depending upon if it's a parcel address and if the address still has the actual structure on it. Because of course if the structure gets torn down, but still has an actual street address on there. So I'm weeding through a little bit, just started it, we communicated a little bit through Facebook and they found the right link for me. So working on that, and that will be at least a little bit of a head start. We can have something as a basis to look off to.
And
as far as that
now,
goes.
I know that Judy has sent out letters to people who were registered already to renew, and they've been coming in. the problem you're running into, and it's a problem you run into with most of the stuff you try to put those kind of laws in, and you have nobody to go out and do the work.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciate, I think that's great that you're doing that. But, we keep talking about, we want to do this building, we want to do this, and we want to do that. But we're never looking at hiring somebody to actually do it. The thing is, you can compare it to Still has a building department. They have multiple people working on it. We just don't have that. And, Judy really doesn't have a lot of time to devote to it. So it's something you may want to keep in mind, to find a solution to that part of it. Because I think that's where you really get hung up.
I think we're gonna find too where we'll have some landlords who have 3 properties, but in all actuality they own 10.
Is that it, George?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I said this.
But just to go back on something you said, I know there's a couple businesses came into town, but, you hear it on the street. I don't know why they can't come to the council meeting, introduce themselves, we could have an opening for them.
Yeah.
Like the appliance store down there, the rib place that's gonna open up. I think someone just bought this place over here, there's a new owner over here, and just different things. Word on the street, there was a place down the street not too long ago, a craft place or whatever, that you hear that the place is open, but, no one really knows. And where we could invite them, have grand openings for them. So if you hear anything, I don't get on the Facebook and stuff that much. I'm not a social media guy. But I know that's where everything is advertised at now. And Amy, I don't know if you hear all this stuff, when people come.
I have not. If you let me know something's open.
Somebody will ask me, hey,
there's a ribbon
online.
cutting or something, I'll certainly come and take a picture for the business page.
Yeah. And,
If
you
it
see
doesn't
these
tell me,
people.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you hear it on the street, oh, do you see a space opened up down there? No. There's how many enough on the hill? But, you people hear anything, go introduce yourself to them and invite them to a council meeting or whatever, and then we can have an opening or what have you. With that. Patty, you got anything?
2 things.
Introduce yourself.
Adriana Reno, 415 Edward Street. I was at a dinner last week, and there were some representatives from our state there, Hoagland, and a couple other ones, but he's mainly the one I spoke with. And I had asked about if there was any help in getting the condemned buildings in downtown Mingo torn down. And he said any of them that are on the state level that they own for some reason or some, from foreclosures or whatever, the banks, I don't know. He said have your fire chief, have your councilman, have your mayor, write to him, give him, or email him, give him the addresses of those buildings, and he and a couple of other people will look into helping get those out.
The only problem with that, Patty, is usually when they have the state of Ohio, they have another name attached with it, and with that other name attached with it, the state of Ohio washes their hands of it. That's
But
been
he
my...
said he would look further into it, because I told him this has been an ongoing problem.
Yeah.
And with Mingo trying to come forth and be better again, those properties.
I told you before, it all starts up in the courthouse. That's where it all starts. And those guys get cited and cited, they don't pay, and then I asked the auditor, what do you do? State takes over, that's all.
Yeah, but he said that he would help look into it. And I'm not going to try and say the other guy's name. It's Oddhop or something like that. He's the president.
Yeah.
Oddhop.
Something, yeah.
And so that's one thing. And the second thing is I wanted to follow up on what I had spoke about last week about the possible truck traffic with the logging coming on Logan. Is there going to be an ordinance for that, or is there one already?
There already is. There are weight limits on that road that they would probably, I'm sure they would exceed. Now, there are provisions that they do have the ability to come in. And that's the one chance you may have that make them post a bond. They can get permission to use the road and exceed the weight limit. But they would have to go to the police chief, get a permit, and require them to post a bond. But there are weight limits on those roads. So logging trucks really shouldn't be able to get on those roads.
Now, do we know anything officially about this?
I don't know, no, I don't know.
I mean, I'm hearing it too, and, I haven't heard nothing official.
Yeah, it's all so-called hearsay now,
Right.
but Danu's supposedly back there picking out what trees they want and all that fun stuff. But also, how about the parking on that lower part of Logan? After 9 o'clock at night, if you come up through there, you can barely get a small car, let alone if the ambulance or the fire truck needs to come up through there. People were parking on the right side and the left side, and there's barely enough room to get through.
That's the 500 block, right? That's 600 block.
Warren,
I mean,
Logan and Warren.
Me and Joe just had a conversation the other day about that. There are no parking signs this side up there.
But there needs to be
But
one, they need to be told, one side only.
Well, I mean, there's signs up there, and if they go up there, if you see it, I mean, they do need a
it's
ticket.
not, the problem's not that they're not parking, that they're parking where there's no parking signs. The problem is that as you go up Logan, it's parking on the left. It's parking on the left till you get to Warren, then it goes to parking on the right, and I think that's what you're talking about. That, and then it goes a block, and then it's parking on the left again.
Yeah,
And that's where you have your problem,
that
and that's
block-
been that way for as long as I can
They need to move
remember.
over to the left and just leave it, get off of that right side.
Park right on the corner of Warren and Logan too.
Yeah, they're parked right on.
Well, yeah, they park really
Right on the corner.
right there.
Oh, I didn't know about keeping an eye on that up there.
But as far as
Quite a few
the
roads where
parking,
people are
you
parking
can,
on street, they have driveways, they still park on street.
well, your solution, if you're
Eleanor.
gonna have, if you're doing it.
Up on Eleanor.
The
Those signs were
argument-
taken down. There were signs up there before, parking on one side. I know there were. Every other place got them.
All throughout Hillsborough, we had
The
those.
reason,
Every other place got them. But they're gone up there.
guys, here's the history. That's been an
Why?
issue for a long time. And it's always been a problem. And some, and I don't remember who, councilmen and I think even police officers, they didn't want to change it because they said if we move those cars from the right side to the left side, you'll just get more speeders and it slows down traffic. Now, personally, I think it's a hazard.
Till some little kid's sitting in between one of those cards and
Well, I think
comes
it's
out.
definitely- I mean, I think it's a hazard if you look at it. But you really ought to take a look at it. Because it is a problem, and there is a problem with people parking too close to the intersection too.
Jody, can you look at that?
Paint them,
Yeah.
paint them yellow.
Well, that one side, I told them that we would paint that one side yellow where we're not supposed to park at. But I was just gonna ask you if you can order no parking signs inside, if you get a couple of those
We can-
up there
we
for
can do
now.
that.
But if you really want, it's not that people are parking on both sides.
Yeah, it's just that
The
they're
problem is, If you're
alternating.
gonna do anything, you have to take.
Just take them, put them on one side.
It's a 500 block where
Right.
Warren is. You've got to take those cars from the right side and make them park on the left side. That's the only thing you need to do. You have to change the side that they're parking on. Putting up a no parking sign where there's already no parking doesn't accomplish anything. Nobody's parking over there. But if you move them over, then at least you have a clear roadway,
Yeah, I
right?
know what you're saying, yeah.
You guys want
Eleanor,
to
they just need to pick a side as well.
There was a side, there was a side, it was,
Yeah.
I'm
schedule?
pretty sure it was your left-hand side,
Jody,
going up.
schedule a meeting.
I'm pretty sure it was the left-hand side. You could,
On the left side going up, there's no driveways. On the right side going up, there's driveways. So you make people park on the other side of the road, they can't get to their driveway because you got signs over there now. If you're going to do that. It's
Get
screwed
to
up.
their driveway,
It's
they
people
just don't wanna
parking
park
too
at
close to
each
the
other's
intersection.
way.
That's the problem. There's no yellow lines up there.
So
There's
we
people
need-
almost touching bumper to bumper on Warren Avenue. That's how close they're parked out there.
Even on the corner up there.
Yeah, when you go up there, you gotta you go over to the right, then you gotta go over to the left. I don't know. I guess when I get ahead of time, I go up and paint some lines.
Well, some lines, man, just let us know. Anybody, that's safety guys, let us know.
Can you as a safety committee go up and just see what, there's a solution?
Yeah, man, we'll do that, I
I
guess.
think you gotta have the, might be the same, service too, together. They got the roads and everything. We got safety,
You want to have a combined meeting?
combined meeting and go up.
Well, you three are on safety and service.
We're saying people's on it, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Joey,
It's all us.
me and Satch is on the
All
same
right.
thing. When you wanna go, you let me know.
You want to go this week, or do you want to go next week?
As soon as possible,
All right, well, let's go this week.
not tomorrow.
Okay, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? Thursday?
That's fine.
6?
In the morning?
No. PM.
No.
Wait. I have physical therapy. No, I
You
should be
working
done by
or
then.
anything?
Yeah, I work from home. I start back into the office next week and go back out on the road, so that's when that starts. I have physical therapy, but I can be down here by 6.
Safety meeting, what time, where at?
6 p.m. Do we want to meet up
Yep,
on Logan?
yep.
Logan at Warren?
We can park in Michigan, paying those parking place there.
Yeah.
Common little garage, park right
You
here.
know, y'all park.
Park where?
It's called Commonized Garage, a big garage on the right hand
Big-
side.
big
As you're
garage
coming
area.
down the hill?
No,
I'm going
Going
up.
up.
It's on the right hand side, right before you get to Warren.
where the apartment starts,
Yeah.
there's a black lady lives there, the next big garage apartment,
Okay.
right there.
Anything else, Patty?
Thanks, Patty.
Thank you. Harry?
Harry Brockway, Hallock Avenue, 2 quick questions. Cemetery, the circle there where the flagpole needs painted and the flag needs replaced, in case that hasn't been mentioned to anyone. And over by the swimming pool entrance, I mentioned about 2 signs, fire, no parking, fire lane. The signs are worn out. If you got the signs, let me know. All you do is give me the signs, 4 bolts, and they'll be replaced. I left the message with, I think Judy. She said something about she had just ordered signs, so I don't know whether that was on the list or not, because I know you all had a list. Safety had recreation had a list from last year, and I'm pretty sure they were on there about the signs. So I don't know whether they're in, out.
I don't know the area, I don't know.
I don't know, we'll find out.
Yes, sir.
We'll
That's
do
it.
And with the flags, Harry, they are replaced.
Yeah, we
they're
talked
already
about the
ready.
flags.
So we'll replace them all, come
Yeah,
to-
like I said,
Yeah, we replace them all.
I forget what I was talking about, that flagpole,
Yeah.
I was sort of talking with, we looked at that, and that pole is a mess
Yeah.
right now.
All right,
Okay.
thanks.
Yes, sir.
Chance?
I was enjoying the
Andy, you're allowed to speak.
Anybody want to tell me what's going on with the pharmacy?
Closed.
That's all we know, really.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's what I
Are we
think.
gonna get a pharmacy in?
You want to start one?
Talking about getting a prescription.
I have no idea.
Then they gotta go somewhere else. What's the problem?
That's the trouble. Wait a minute, Mr. Hurry, there's a trouble this time. Go
Moses,
somewhere
what are you
else.
gonna do?
Hold on,
I wouldn't-
hold on, let's
forget-
move on,
forget.
let's move on.
Okay, I wanna talk. Whoa,
Mr.
there.
Purdy, go ahead.
What's the top?
I wanna thank Mr. Bob Smith and his crew for patching the pond job down. Everybody's happy, Bob, on that deal. He's doing a good job under that railroad bridge.
We're actually trying to
Took
slope
care of
it.
that.
We're
That's
actually
real
trying to
good.
slope it where it won't flood.
And our neighbors that helped, the city crew, good. They did a good job.
Appreciate that very much, they did. Thank you. And with that, you have a motion to go into executive
No,
session?
I have a few little things.
Okay.
I had somebody call me who is having a problem with the neighbor and who wants to build a fence. Does he have it? Now, I looked up fences on our online ordinances, and it shall maintain a fence with no electrical current, no barbed wire, but it doesn't really say anything about how high he can go, and can he put it right on the
6 feet on
gap?
the sides.
6 feet on the side and the back.
You can't put a fence on the front with, that's one of those open fences.
The only fences you can put in the front are ornamental, and I think there's a 3-foot limit.
I don't know if you can go with a fence.
There's something, but it's gotta be an ornamental fence, which means a picket, like
Like a picket.
Yeah.
like a rail, split rail place.
Split
Okay,
rail.
6
Check
foot
the
on the
zoning.
side and the back,
Mhm.
and ornamental in the front. And how close can he put it on his property, right at the line, or does he have to be back
You know where
5
his
feet?
property line
or
is exactly at? I would go back a little bit just to make sure.
If you're gonna do it, you better be.
You better make sure
very,
where your
very
property line
sure
is. You're
of
gonna
where
do a
you put it.
survey.
okay,
Because if the other person comes in with a survey and that's on his property, guess what?
yeah,
Jody,
yeah.
there is no ordinance against putting it right on the property line.
No, there's not, but you take
As long
that
as
chance.
you're-
Right.
as long as you
And he
are
was
sure
talking
that-
like privacy fence.
On the sides and the back, you
So
can do
sides and
that.
back, he can do that. Okay, good to know.
Up to, side means up to the building.
Yeah, so I just said, up to the house.
Up to the house, is that what you said?
Up to the front of the house. You can't come past the front of the house.
Like
Okay.
up on,
Can't run it all the way to the curb.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. It has to stop short. Next question. I've had people asking me about Easter egg hunt. Anybody?
They have one up the park.
20th.
Woody,
Up the park.
That's up the park. There's-
The 20th, do you happen to know?
It's on the window out there.
All right, I'll go. Oh, when we get done here.
It's either 10 or 10 o'clock, I'm not sure.
On the 20th?
Yeah, that's the Ranch Shelter House, sponsored
I
by,
think. I think the
Liz
KC will
Fagan,
have
I
that.
think it is.
Yeah, it's up
Yeah, well, KC's the one.
Cut the grass.
Okay. Thank you. That was it for me.
All right, thanks.
Hey, I got one more thing, Mayor.
Not too late, Fred.
Oh, come on, Mayor.
No, we're one, I got a motion to go into
I'm down
executive
south,
session.
Mayor.
Break stuff down. Go ahead, Jody.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
What for?
Shut me off.
Personnel?
For real
Real estate and-
For real estate
And personnel.
Bertel, when you
Yes.
get parents.
Yes.
Yes.
Or let me know.
Yes.
Yes.